We can't use their system to overthrow their system, because by doing that, you supporting their system. You have to divorce yourself from their system, use the original system of the tribes that all tribes understand, and put it in the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we tell the stories and go over the history. I done read thousands of books, man. I don't have time to every other word give you the book.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then especially when I'm not doing a class where I'm pulling the receipts. But at the same time, it don't matter what anybody think. You know, I don't have no beef with nobody from that. I don't got no beef with nobody. All I'm just saying is, when we doing what we doing to recover our birthright, go to Africa and get your African birthright, you African American. And then you will have a leg to stand on to put some weight on somebody for reparations. If you don't have a leg to stand on, you need your own country with a lobbying body of Congress of their own to lobby for you to get reparations. Japan lobbied for the Japanese in World War II. They got it. But ain't no African country saying you from there. Lobbying for you to get reparations, giving you dual citizenship because they know you've tied to the land over there. I've been talking to Pan-Africanists studying Garveyism for years. They all over there say the same thing I'm saying. We from over here. It is some African in us. We've been marrying them motherfuckers for thousands of years. But if they tell you they not making it up at 21andMe blood tests, DNA test shit, it says for entertainment purposes. The narrative is to steer us away from the birthright to the land over here. The narrative has to disassociate us from the land called America. But we was already here before Columbus came. Right? So we have to go back to our system from before Columbus came in order to overthrow their system with our system. All of these wise legal counsels can't understand that the grandfather clause is in full effect when we go from Admiralty Maritime back to the law of the land and the totem pole. We had totem poles. We don't follow the law of the flag. That's Admiralty jurisdiction. The law of the flag ain't supposed to apply on land unless it's in the embassy.
Ron, let me ask you, how long has this earth plane, this school plane, been in existence? Like, I'm just trying
Time is an illusion. To give you a time is reinforcing an illusion. It's been here ever since now. It's been here right now.
Are there other earth schools in the universe, or is this like the premier school? You know how they got Harvard, they got Yale, and these are the schools you go to where you get you learn some shit. Is that earth like, are we like the Harvard of the universe? Are we the Yale? Are we the Stanford, Columbia? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Or are we like, what kind of school?
Yeah, this was the school that most species wanted to come to. This is all holographic projections in 3D. Mm-hmm. And our consciousness is in the video game, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? And we getting the information. Somebody's playing with the joystick, manipulating the DNA in order to get the message when the mitochondria send the signal. Mm-hmm. Right? It's computer animated, digitally enhanced. Right? This is why you have ancient technology returning, like the healing chamber and the med bed. People talking about that's the newest technology. No, that shit ancient.
Right.
It's part of the part called the hereafter in the story of the redemption of the earth in the holy drama of the Osirian resurrection. They tell you it's the Christ story in the Bible, but it's the Osirian resurrection. That's why everybody got it slightly off. They looking at it from the reflection of an original story's reflection. And then they don't even know the actual people that existed that they telling the innuendo story about without using the name of the person. The Isis of the day was Cleopatra, and they haven't found her tomb.
Mm.
It's the synchronicities with the story. The story of the Christ was written a 21-part play by Josephus Flavius. It was to be 21 different people looking at the story of this Christ character from 21 different angles, and they all had a gospel. A gospel is the good news, a good story. They all had a good story from their angle. But as soon as you get caught in one angle, you can't see the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an entertainment purposes. It's psychologically alluring. It's a hypnotic play being played out in order to seduce your mind into believing a paradigm that they can control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you enslave the mind at the most basic core portion of understanding.
Mm-hmm. You know, I want to use music as an example, Rod. Sometimes the older artists, they've been making good music for so long that they need a new muse. So what they do is they get with a younger artist, and the younger artist gives them a muse, and they create magnificent music. Now, if life is music and we're old souls and we've been creating music in this realm for a long time, do you think us getting with some of the younger souls, like let's say the Caucasian species is a younger group, when we get with them, do you think we will create great music because they offer a fresher perspective? When we've been here for so long, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, we tired of this shit. So us having a seed with the Caucasian race, do you think that offers or bring forth a soul that's totally different from what the world has ever seen before because of the mixture of DNA?
That was all part of a game called white supremacy. It was a multi-dimensional chess game.
White supremacy is a multi-dimensional game.
It's part of a multi-dimensional chess game. White supremacy's foundation is called Protocols of Zion. Right? And the script is written as morals and dogma. And it's telling you basically how you follow the dogma, and the ones follow the morals is the only ones going to see the story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? And then the story going to be being told, played out. Ain't it some America came in with George and left with George?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because even when Obama was president, as long as the old man was living, he was King George the First of the United States of America, passed by Senate subcommittee in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
In the wee hours of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Right? William Cooper outed his ass.
Right.
Right? And it was part of a security agreement. The security agreement was to give the Illuminati or the deep state control of the government. George Bush would be the king of that government. And from then on, he was the one who controlled the next several presidents until they got to Donald J. And then his plan was derailed. All this is still playing out the story repeatedly over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they run in what they call the kabuki theater, right? Which was common in ancient Japanese culture. When married to East meet West, the uniting of Africa and Asia,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the uniting of the understanding of the mythologies, because the mythologies is just repeating the same holy drama.
Right, right.
Right. And the holy drama traces back to the Osirian resurrection, and that the masters of the land know that when the crisis come, who to call. And they call on one of the elders, what they call the family tree, or the great pharaoh's family tree. If you look at the gods, right, and then you see Isis, Osiris, Horus, Anubis, Sekhmet, Het-Heru, right? When you're going through them, they all got a different function. Those are parts of the family. Everybody at each function have to teach one of the children in the family how to perform each one of the functions of each person in the family, so that when he get to the top, now he know how to set the family structure back up. The nuclear family, the head of the family, right? The great family of Tahuti, the uniting of the tribes of the earth, right? They tell you the story in the Avatar. They tell you the story in the Matrix. It's the same story from a different angle. And all of those stories create what they call the great work. Everybody got to keep the story out in the forefront until we figure it out. So we figured it out.
Hey, Rod, is it possible to incarnate in this realm, your soul? Like, is your soul simultaneously down here using different bodies, or does each soul incarnate one body at a time? How does that work, Rod?
It depends on how your DNA structure is set up. But you got, in order to be multiple personalities with the same higher self, you have to have the same DNA. It's normally 7 at a time, but those are normally masters. And you have what they call lookalikes.
But doppelgangers, that?
Yeah, but they lookalikes. Like you might go to Japan and see a Japanese dude with your face, but he's just lighter. Right? You might go to Africa and see another dude with your face, except he burnt brown.
Yeah.
Right? And then you be sitting there like, man, why did the dude in Japan got and dude over here in Africa? And you're looking at the facial cranial structure. Yeah. And the energy that comes in is the DNA tells it how to form. Y'all are tuned to the same physiological frequency in order to produce the outline of the form. And this is also another expression of the self. Right? When you have multiple mental selves, that's because you tuned in your VHF frequency to the same radio frequency as somebody else. When you become a master of your frequency, now you can use it to talk to anybody else on your frequency. Tuning the radio knob.
Right.
Yeah, if you learn to control it. When you hear multiple voices, your radio stations overlap. You got to tell the other radio station, hey, turn off until you get down to the station you want to hear. Right? That's how you call practicing the control of the man, to keep the mind, the monkey mind, the Sacco Mao, from driving you into the nut house. But then some of us is conscious of how to do it, but we too lazy to do it and mad because we get the results of not doing it. We want somebody else to do it for us.
Is there anything you think a soul looks for when, like, say when a soul's ready to incarnate down here and they're looking at a man and a woman and they know they're about to get busy and have sex? Is there any personality traits that this soul looks for? Because sometimes the people we call masters, they come from the people we least expected. They may come from a crackhead. They may come from a junkie. They may come from just a regular Joe. They don't come from sometimes you would think two conscious people produce masters, but it don't work like that all the time. So is there anything that these souls are looking for when they want to come down here, these advanced souls?
Yeah, open channels.
Elaborate on that.
Path of least resistance.
Path of least resistance.
Right, an open channel. So when you let your frequency go to a certain level, it makes the higher beings have a lesser of a struggle becoming one with the individual. And they can bring them up to a higher level faster.
So being conscious could offer resistance sometimes, you think, to these souls?
Yeah, because a lot of the consciousness is rooted in the ego being strong.
Woo! That's a breakthrough. People don't even realize that. because the
Yeah.
consciousness is rooted in the ego being stronger. So we prevent the higher advanced souls. That's a breakthrough, brother. I got to put that on TikTok or some shit, man. Go ahead, brother. That's a breakthrough. Like,
Right. Well,
conscious folk need to hear that.
the struggle with you is between your higher self and your ego self. Your higher self is the one determined to drive you to do your destined purpose and is going to manipulate the hell out of your ego until they get it done. Your ego going to fight back and try to do everything my way that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it's just doing it your way. It doesn't make sense. So it's defying logic why you doing it your way that makes your higher self rebel.
Right.
And force you to go down a path that's going to force you to straighten up.
Mm. Wow.
And you doing it to yourself the whole time, trying to not be who you are, trying to be who the world told you to be.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be who you are. The more you want to be what the world want to be, that's the greater your ego develop.
Mm-hmm.
Because your ego is the sum total of all of the things people told you about yourself that you believe, and you use that as a protective defense against the inner child. And the inner child only wants the higher self to parent it and guide it through the world, right? But the ego take over, smother the inner child, and now he's at war with the higher self. So you find him sitting in the penitentiary for 75 years. They was too real for the streets. That's what we talking about. That energy exchange with the self drives you to put yourself in a circumstance. Your higher self gonna put you wherever you gotta be in order for you to fulfill your life purpose. Yeah, sometimes your life purpose is just to deliver one message to one individual that's in a far distant place from where you currently sit.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be one person listening to Brother Rich that got the message they needed to get that changed their life forever. And now you did your whole life mission. Now you can go about your business.
Mm-hmm.
And create whatever life you want to after that. So we think when we do our life purpose that it takes our whole life. Sometimes it just takes a class encounter.
Right.
You know, because we help other people to help us.
Rod, I remember one time, bro, when I was in my 20s, there was this dude. I was a street vendor in NYC, and I was selling like DVDs and stuff like that. And this dude came up to me and he started telling me about fasting. And the brother inspired me to go on the biggest fast I ever went on. I remember it to this day. It changed my life forever. Made me stop eating a lot of things I was eating. And I never seen the brother again. Seen him one time in my life. One time he inspired me to do the biggest fast I ever did. Then I just never seen the brother again. So in encounters like that, what would you describe that as? Where you want to look for the motherfucker to thank him, like, yo, thank you, but I never found the brother again. It just, what would you describe?
Look, in your book of life, you might have asked for a pass right there, flea flicker.
What? Come on, brother. You got cool. What did you just say, man? You asked for what?
A pass. You said flea flicker.
What's that?
Yeah. In football, flea flicker is the razzle dazzle play on the football field.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. And you might have wrote in your book of life, if I happen to end up right here, that's where I want to put my inspiration spot at. So it's like you stored it there in your life path. And if you get there, you get that inspiration. That was the reward. He was just there as the shopkeeper holding the reward until you came and got it.
Oh, damn, bro.
He there, but he not there no more.
Yeah.
You see? And your paradigm changed because of that encounter. That's how you read the signs in your life like that. Mm-hmm. And the more you understand your path that you took, the more you understand the destiny you're supposed to take. Mm-hmm. Right? And because it's going to be training you for the next wave of events. Mm-hmm. And your greatest task going to come when you can look back on it all and know exactly why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, or indifferent. You ain't supposed to be squeaky clean, but you're gonna pay for your dirt before you get out of here.
Mm.
That's part of the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So the dirt had to be enough to draw the misery on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now that they did their dirt, they enjoyed it when it happened, laugh now, cry later. But some of us wasn't about that laugh now. We was about that figure it out. Straight face. And then later we can laugh about it because we're gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm. You know what I always hear about, Rod? I always hear about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. They be like, yo, he on the mother wheel. He ain't passed away. He's on the mothership, or what's that called? The mothership or the wheel or the mother.
Mother
Yeah. What's up with souls like Elijah? You know, I asked you about people with masters. Where's Elijah chilling right now? Where people like Elijah?
Listen,
Yeah.
Elijah got a pamphlet. It's hard to find, but it's called Radiohead.
Radiohead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's about the master's ability to be on the other side. And if a person match enough of their frequency, they can talk to you through that person.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And they always have a lot of melanated people are going to be drawn to Sedona. Like she's asking the question now. That means there's a curiosity brewing in the community. Others of us want to know. It's a lot of us still go down there. Don't get it twisted. But it's just that a lot of work is being done with the most recent evolved human species of the planet. In order to get them their right to ascend, they had to assimilate their one drop of blood. So now they're going for their spiritual tuning sessions to make sure that